If Captaris's RightFax is your preferred faxing system, you will need to install the Reform RightFax plugin. This will enable Reform Enterprise to automatically and seamlessly deliver your outbound fax documents. To install the fax plugin, click on your Start. Open your system's control panel and then click on Add or Remove Programs. Scroll down the list of applications until you find Reform Enterprise, and then click on Reform Enterprise to open it. If you are using Windows XP, you will need to click on the Change button. If you are using a previous version of Windows, you will need to click on the Add Remove button. A maintenance window will appear. Make sure that Modify is selected, and then click Next to continue. In this window, scroll down the list of features and click on where it says RightFax. Now click Next to begin installing the fax plugin. Click Finish to complete the installation. Note that you must restart Reform for the fax plugin to initialize. Close out of the control panel. Now that the RightFax plugin has been installed, you will have some setup instructions available to you. Click on your Start button. Select Programs, and then from the Programs menu, select Reform Enterprise. From the Reform Enterprise menu, select Fax Instructions. Now select and click on RightFax Plugin Setup to open the fax instructions. Use these instructions as a reference and to help troubleshoot setup information. Scroll down to view the whole document. The information available here will also be covered in this lesson. Close out of these instructions. Now open up Reform's Designer program and let's set up a form for faxing. When the designer opens, click on File from the menu bar and then select Open. In the Open dialog box, highlight the form that you want to assign faxing properties to and then click Open. Make sure to open the associated text file and then click over to the text layer. In the text layer, you can assign specific business rules to your forms, using special fields to extract information from your application's inbound text files. The information captured with a special fields object box will be used to seamlessly deliver your outbound documents. Click on Special Fields from the menu bar. From the drop-down menu, select and click on Include Company Lookup field. A color-coded box will appear. Drag the box over where the client's company name appears. Click on Special Fields and then click on Include Fax Name field. Drag and drop the box over the area where the name appears of the person who will be receiving the fax. Click on Special Fields and then select and click on Include Fax Number field. Drag and drop the box over the area where the client's fax number appears. Be sure not to include any additional text. Click on Special Fields and then select and click on Include Notes field. Drag the object box over an area of text that you want to see under the Notes heading of your outgoing fax's cover page. Once you have defined your special fields, click back over to the design layer. The special fields information appears on the design layer for quick referencing. Drag the object boxes over the right side of the form for easy reading. Click on the word File and then select Page Setup from the menu. Make sure the Send To button is selected. Then click on the down arrow of the Transport Type box and select RightFax from the menu. Now click on the Setup button. In this window you will need to input the fax server name and the username. Maximize your RightFax application. Obtain your fax server's name here. Then input your username. Then click OK. Click on the Attachment Setup button. In the Attachment Setup window, you can specify the file type and the color format of your outgoing faxes. It is recommended that you use the settings that you see here. You can reference these settings in the fax instructions document that we saw earlier. Click OK to exit the Page Setup window. To direct Reform to use a specific cover page for your outgoing faxes, click on the Options button from the menu bar. Select Automation. Now select and click on Fax Cover Page. Type in the file name of the fax cover page that exists in your RightFax's cover page folder. To use RightFax's default cover page, type in System Default as you see here. Then click OK to continue. Make sure to save your settings. Click on the word File, and then from the menu, click on Save. Close out of Reform's Designer. Now direct your application to print the document that you have just assigned faxing properties to. This will place a text file of the document in Reform's spooling directory. For purposes of this lesson, let's take a closer look at the text file in the spooling directory. Use Windows Explorer to browse for the Reform spooler folder. The spooling directory on this system is located within the C drive under Reform and then Spooler. Click on the spooler folder to open it. Now click on the text file. Notice that the text file here is the same one that we saw earlier in the text layer of Reform's Designer program. Close out of the text file. Activate Reform's spooler program. Reform's spooler program will begin immediately processing the text file that's in the spooling folder, seamlessly delivering each fax to its destination via your RightFax server. Once all of your faxes have been processed through Reform Spooler, you can click on the main folder to get a closer look at your fax documents. Double-click on one of the faxes to retrieve it from the server. Notice that all the information that we cropped earlier from Reform's Designer appears here on the fax cover page. Use the page arrows in the RightFax viewer to scroll the pages of your fax document. So to quickly recap this lesson, remember to install the fax plugin through your Add Remove programs in your system's control panel. Review the fax instructions to assist in the installation process. Use the special fields object boxes to obtain fax information from the text layer of Reform's Designer. And make sure to assign RightFax as the transport type in the page setup window. Reform's spooler program will then seamlessly combine and process this information and send it automatically to your fax system with no additional handling from the user. Simply print from your application and Reform will do the rest. This process needs only to be completed once. Subsequent documents or forms of this type will then be faxed automatically.